Hello, everyone. Hello. Back again for live at 2 o'clock with Kelly Weiler here at Girl Upcycled Studio. So glad to see you guys all come rolling in. Please say hello when you come in. Today's live, I'm excited about it. It's going to be a really fun and yet extremely easy paint finish that all of you can do. And I would love to hear from all of you if you have already done this paint finish, if you've already tried it, or if you plan to. I would love to know what colors you would use doing the same paint finish. So let me know what you would do. So hello, Georgia. Glad to see you. And Patricia. Hello, Betsy. Thanks, ladies. Happy Sunday. Hope you're all doing well today. Okay, I want to go ahead and get started while I'm kind of talking to you and while we're saying our hellos, because there are several layers to this and there's a lot of water involved. So we've got some drying to do, and I want to make sure I can get this done in the time that we have. Okay, so let's start with the first layers. I want to tell you what I'm going to use on the first layers. I'm going to use a color called Summer Crush. You see the bottom of it. Summer Crush by DIY Clay-Based Paint, Debbie's Design Diary. I'm going to use Prairie Gray. I'm also going to use Gypsy Green on this first layer, okay? And I am going to apply it with my Paint Pixie brush. This is the very first Paint Pixie brush that I ever bought, and she's still going strong, and it's getting a little gnawed and kind of rough looking, but this is the perfect brush to use for the technique that I'm going to be painting today. So let's get started with that. I'm going to get this poured out on my plate, and I want you all to think about what we started with. So we cleaned really good, right? When we started with this project, we degreased, and then we applied the clay using the clay molds from the IOD company, which stands for Iron Orchid Design, by the way. If any of you missed the very first one, we just applied the clay. This is what it looks like. And the molds that I used, oh, here they are. Just do a quick little recap. These are the molds that I used. I used the bird song molds, and I also used the classic elements. I probably used this one. It's upside down. I probably used this one the most. So I try to keep plenty of these on hand. I hope I have plenty on my website. Because it is. That's why it's called classic, because it is just kind of a classic use. You could use it for all of your furniture, art, things like this. It just has stuff that everybody would like. Okay, so those are the ones that I use probably the most. Okay, let me finish getting this on my plate here. Let's see. My paint is getting a little... See if I can just take this lid off and pour it. So I'm trying to go for a kind of a natural patinaed look when it's all said and done. And I don't think I'm going to need a ton. We're going to use all three of these colors together. And notice, you guys, I have this hanging on. This is just a tripod that I use to put my camera on, okay? That's what I'm using. You could hang yours on, say, a ladder or something, a tree outside or something like that. It's extremely easier to do this while it's hanging. I've done many of these, and this is how I feel it's the easiest. So because you can kind of paint it and spin it as you're painting, okay? So try to get something hanging if you can. All right, so I'm going to get this brush and get started. And I'm going to start with my orange tone first, which is called Summer Crush. And yes, I'm going to go ahead and hit all of the chain that it's hanging from as well. I paint all of it. And I am just kind of stippling it on there, okay? That's how I'm doing it. So you can just start. And I'm not doing a full coverage, okay? So we're going to just kind of do it. You're going to have this kind of splotchy kind of look, which is going to not make much sense at first, but if you guys have seen some of my other techniques, painting techniques that I've done, it's very similar to that, really, as far as all of the colorful different paints that we use. So you're just going to splotch it on there. Hello, Erin. White, whites and grays. So pretty. So here's the thing. Even though I'm starting with these bold colors and it's going to look like crazy town, okay? I don't want you to be scared because it's all going to come out in the wash, y'all, okay? Y'all heard that saying before? It all comes out in the wash. Well, that's kind of what's going to happen. It's all going to come out in the wash. I hope I don't knock this off my table. It's just barely fitting on here, but I was like, what could I hang this with without climbing clear up to the top of my building here and hanging it? I used to have something that I left hanging. It just got to be kind of in the way, having that there. So, yeah. Something else I want to kind of point out. You see these little pieces that hang down and hold your light bulb? Paint it. Paint that stuff, girls. Paint that, okay? Paint it all. When it comes back to the end, and I get a lot of questions about asking if I'm going to use the lampshades. No, I don't put the lampshades back on this. You'll want to get like those real pretty, pretty bulbs. You want to put like a decorative bulb in it and just let the bulb hang. So you could get them to where some that kind of look like actual candles or the Edison. But no, I will not put those ugly lamps back on this, the lampshades. Got my daughter here with me today, my little buddy. She's been helping me, and she is cleaning out my car right now. I'm on the run all the time. Yes, ma'am, this is Summer Crush. Hi, Susan, how are you? I haven't spoken to you in quite a while, my friend. Miss you. This is DIY clay-based paint. So this first color that I'm using, this is from Debbie Beard. This is Debbie's Design Diary. It's all natural clay-based paint, and this is Summer Crush. This is the first color that I'm using. If you look on the bottom, I like to show, kind of gives you a true color. How might you repurpose the lampshades? I'm not real sure. I'm sure there's some, it's going to sound weird if I tell you what I first had in my mind. Do you guys ever see gardens that have garden art in it? And there's those folky looking garden art, and they're like people. They would make like the perfect, front, what's for women. My daughter's mortified right now. But they would be so cute. So my thought is you could take like an old ironing board and create it, how it's kind of shaped like a person already, and then put the breasts, the little things on for the lady. I think it would be so cute. Erin says, to the garbage. I know, but I have seen those I don't know, years ago, I used to get Mother Earth news, and there was lots of gardens and things like that. And I love those whimsical, fun, I like whimsical, bright things for outside, out in the garden. And you can kind of get away with that quirky stuff out there. You know, like I wouldn't want that in my house per se, but I think it'd be cute for a garden or something like that. My daughter probably thinks I'm crazy. Okay, so I'm just going to keep going around, and I'm just watching this on. Make sure you get your all the little things painted. I'm going to do the best that I can while I'm doing this live because it is, there are a lot of steps here, and I'll do the best I can. So make sure if y'all have questions about this. Oh, Patricia, see, that would be so cute. Okay, do you guys know what I'm talking about? She's going to have you looked up. I know, right? Hello. Hey, my friend. Hello, Chris. How are you? Let me show you. Well, I mean, we would have to figure out something, right? Because look, this is what they look like. Have to figure out something to do with the opening parts, but wood, you could totally turn it into a mermaid. Okay, sorry, we got a little off topic there, didn't we? But these do really, really well. Every time I make one, the customers love them. So, you know, if you are a person that has, you know, a studio or a little shop, these always do really well. And if you ever have questions or need help, just give me a yell. So I do want to say with this first layer, you guys want to make sure that you get all of the cracks and crevices filled in really, really good around the mold, okay, or around the casting that you made from the molds, okay? So you want it to kind of look like it's been there forever, okay? I'm going to go ahead and dip into my green, and I'm going to start applying that. I didn't even change brushes. And just start tapping it in. Don't forget to get your chain. You want all of that brass gone, okay? You don't want to see any brass at all. So like I said, I have done this several times using the mermaid molds, and I think it's always been my favorite, but we'll see. I haven't done this with the birds yet, so I think this could be kind of fun. You looking for something, babe? You could get some water out of the faucet. That would be fine. She's thirsty. What kind of paint? I am using, this is DIY paint, clay-based paint. And let me see if I can change my banner because, Chris, how have you been? I've not seen you forever. We need to get together, my friend. All right. Here we go. There is my website, and you can find all these products there. This is an all-natural product. There are no VOCs. Not is it just low, but there are no VOCs, okay? So the only thing you will smell with this is it smells like clay. It's earthy. And you can paint pretty much anything, including brass, okay? Let me get some more green. You want to make sure your colors are evenly distributed throughout. My comments up. Oh, good. I miss you guys. Say hi to Mike for me, too. I've seen you guys forever. just going to continue to go around. Leave some spots for your last color. My last color I'm using is Prairie Gray, which is a beautiful, very earthy kind of a clay color. It has some warmth to it. As you turn your chandelier, you'll find that you've missed areas, so you want to make sure that you are hitting that, splotching it. Okay, can you guys see okay? Wish I could zoom in a little bit more. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Is that good? Hopefully. So again, the green that I'm using is called Gypsy Green, and it is a beautiful, sage-ish-esque kind of a color, okay? Make sure you get up underneath, in the backs, all the spaces. Now, of course, you're going to, when you're doing this at home, you're going to be taking your time. I'm just trying to hurry through this so that I don't, because we're doing a live. So I'm trying to keep my lives within an hour here. If you are new to my YouTube channel, please introduce yourself. I'm trying to get to know my YouTube crowd a little bit more. So you can kind of comment. If you're new, then I can kind of say hello to you. And if you are catching this later on, like on YouTube, you can still comment and with all of the questions and the all the stuff that we're doing. If you have a question about what I'm doing, any of that, so feel free to ask your questions even on the replay, because I get little notifications about it, and I can still help and answer you even if you are catching this a year from now, which is kind of cool about the YouTube thing, right? All right. Okay, I'm going to try to step back and look at it and see what I've missed. And that looks kind of crazy right now, but trust me. Do you guys trust me? Number one fan, Patricia. You're so sweet. Hello, Jerry. You have a winter metal file cabinet the other day. DIY paint, and it did great. It does. It really does do really good. So it's all about the sealing of it. Once you get it how you want it, you need to let it seal and you need to let it cure, okay? And all paint is like that, guys. I'm actually thinking about painting my kitchen cabinetry, believe it or not. Do y'all think I should do this? Hey, Cherry, how are you? You love this project? Awesome. I hope you give it a try. So I am thinking about doing my cabinets. Now, would you know, out of all the years I've been a painter, I've never painted my kitchen cabinets before. I've just never done it. I don't know why. It just seems like, I don't know. Lives, not lies. Oh, that's okay. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. So guys, I'm going around right now, making sure that I've hit you want all of the molds completely covered. That's why I'm using this crazy brush that's all mangled, okay? All mangled up. Okay, let's go ahead and I'm gonna jump in. I'm just gonna use my same brush and I'm gonna start applying some of the prairie gray. So let me show you again. You did yours. How did it turn out? This is prairie gray. Beautiful. I use this quite a bit. This is my go-to neutral. And I use it even in my artwork. So, okay, for instance, back behind me, the armoire that I finished, you can see some of the dark areas right through here. And there is a video on that too as well. I use the prairie gray in that to give it that depth that it needs, okay? Yes, paint cabinets. I need to paint mine, but as usual, you're scared to. I know, I'm kind of like, that's a commitment, right? That's like a real commitment. Like when you are committed, you can't just like start 2 or 3 and be like, you know, I'm not feeling it now. I mean, I know I'll love it when it's done. It's just, do I want to dedicate that much time to painting while I'm at home with my kitchen tore apart? I just don't know. No, I think it'll be beautiful. Here's the thing. Every time I'm going through like a specific, like if I'm on Pinterest or something like that, and I see a kitchen that I just love, it's always painted, always. So I'm thinking like, I just need to do that. What do you think, Cash? Should I paint the cabinets at home? Yeah. She's like, I've been listening to you talk about it forever, huh? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I might do it kind of two-toned, and I've got ideas in my mind about this too, about what I'm going to do. Maybe I can get Cassidy to help me. So I know you guys can't see this, but there's a lot of little areas that I've missed. So I need to like completely just keep going around. How are we? We're about 20 minutes into it already. I'm trying my best to hurry. The next phase is pretty quick, but if I don't get it dried, I may not be able to do my finished waxing on it, which is kind of, the waxing is when the magic happens. So if I don't have time today to finish the waxing, I can always do it during my live tomorrow. Does it help breaking it down into bits for you guys? Because in real time, we do have, you know, the paint drying issue. That's what's good about the edited stuff. It's all kind of magical. Still seeing a ton of places I've missed, so I'm going to keep going. It is allowing it to dry in between. Good morning, Vicki. Good to see you. Hello, Joan from Wisconsin, and Sandy. You have been painting chandeliers too. Hello, Sandy. Quarantine would be a good time to take on a project like that. I know, right? It really would be. Betsy says she's painting her banister. Yeah, it is a great time for that. Okay, so I think I need to, I'm going to grab a chair so I can change my angle. Change my angle of my eyes so that I can see up under. So that's a great tip, just really for any painting, is changing the level at which you're painting, and you can kind of see up under the little delicate eaves and stuff, and the underneath, right? hope that makes sense. You want to see up underneath all of those little ledges that you put in with the molding. You've got all the details that are put on there, and you want to make sure that you get that covered really, really well. And what is so good is the paint. It is, I mean, there's clay in the paint, which is why I think it just does so well with the IOD, the paper clay, because it kind of like meshes it all together and molds it all together, so to speak. I'm missing your question. If you tag my name, if you don't know how to tag, you can go at and then my name. I will be sure to see it on YouTube, but if you're on another platform, I may miss it. I apologize for that if I do. So nice. It's been so beautiful the last couple of days. I mean, it's a little overcast today, but it's warm. You could probably even have shorts on today because it's so warm. And our restaurants and things like that are open, like they're outdoor patios and stuff. So yeah, it's really nice to see people out and about. Why not leave some of the brass exposed? You totally could if you wanted. I want to have at least the biggest majority. I'm not going to get mad if there's like a little tiny peak coming out, but because I've got some other steps I'm going to do, and so I want to make sure I get it covered in case I accidentally pull some off, or you know, if I am purposely pulling some off, it'll be where I want it to be. Does that make sense? And Stephanie, I have a gift for you here, my friend. You won a little thing of paint during my flash sale. So I have it here. Next time I see you, or I can mail it out to you as well. You are local, so we can get that to you. Okay, so my next step is I want to kind of circle around, and I'm looking at it, and it looks like I need to add maybe a little more of the orange tone, which is Summer Crush. I haven't used any molds yet on them, so I'm excited to see this. Girl, Sandy. You got to. You gotta. It's just so cool. I definitely want paint inside the molds. I don't want the molds showing, like I don't want that clay showing, right? So I'm just eyeballing it now for anything. Trying to even up the color a little bit. Like I said, I like to have it kind of evenly distributed. And thank you guys so much too for sprinkling the love. I appreciate that. For those of you that are doing that, it's so important and so helpful to the small businesses when you do that. So we appreciate it. The molds that I used turned out good. The top of it, I'll give you a close-up when this is done. I put the little pearls. It looks like there's little pearls strung around the top. When you apply the molds, you want to make sure that when you are attaching them that you're overlapping the castings, okay, a little bit, just a little bit, so that when they dry, they're not pulling apart, if that makes sense. I hope it does. Oh, there's a big chunk that I missed. So again, I welcome all of you to write down any suggestions that you may have of a paint finish that you would like to see during the lives. I think that's going to be pretty good. There might be little bits and pieces that are shown, but it'll be fine. It's going to cover. Okay, so we're going to let this dry, and I'm going to talk to you about the next step, which is we're going to make a wash. Okay. Hello, Kathy. Let me just take a second while this is drying, and let me raise this just a smidge and maybe go back a little bit. You guys ought to see how I have this set up. It's pretty crazy. Okay. Hello, Annette. Okay. Stephanie says, thanks. Fun to watch the process and the transformation. And hello, Wisconsin. Okay, I think I've got them all. Okay. Let's go ahead and mix. I've got a little cup here, so I'm going to go ahead and dip in. And my next color that I am using, and if you are wondering what colors I'm using, if you go to YouTube, I will have a list of all of the products there that you can click right to, so you don't have to write it down, all that good stuff. So the next color I'm going to use is called Apothecary. And it's pretty thick. You can tell like it's gotten a little thick, but the paint, all you have to do is just add some water. We're going to reactivate it a little bit. A little bit of water in here and get it back to normal. Just stir it up. Just stir it up. Get it back to its regular thickness. Okay. And I'm going to use like I'm going to use about maybe 3 or 4 little teaspoons in the bottom of here. There's no science to this, guys, okay? You basically are mixing and you're making a wash. I'm going to add my water. And you're going to have way more water than you have your pigmentation, okay? So you're going to have probably 4 times the water compared to the paint. And when you see it, it's going to look like milk, okay? It's going to, if you see how watery it is, so you're just kind of making this wash. And I am sure that I did not mix enough, so I'm going to mix some more. Add 1, 2. But you can play around with it. I always say if you are in doubt of how it's going to cover, get a little side board or something that you picked up that's going to be like just for practice, and you're going to do a little practice run, okay? That's the best way for you to learn, okay? You can watch me all day long. You can watch everybody else all day long, and you're still not going to know it unless you really do it yourself, okay? So I'm going to hit this real quick with the hairdryer because it's still pretty wet. And then I'll give you a close-up. You can see the before and after. Thank you, Dorothy. The dolphin painting was a live, yes. That was an intuitive piece, and that was a lot of fun. So you can find that on my YouTube channel as well. I did that about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. So much fun. You looking for something, babe? Okay. She's waiting patiently. We're going to go have one of our local yummy places. Did you see a little place I missed? Try to touch it. There it is. Okay. All right, so it's still just a tad bit wet, but I'm going to go ahead and do this next phase. We are at 36 minutes, so I need to keep it rolling so you guys can have your lives back. Okay, so make sure you have something down underneath so it doesn't get damaged. We're going to make a pretty big mess here, okay? So you want to make sure that you have some kind of tarp down or plastic or something of that nature. And again, we're going to go with our apothecary as our next layer. And I am going to, I've got another, this is one of my newer little French tip brushes. And I'm going to dip into this and I'm going to, hold on, get rid of that. Okay, so I'm going to dip into this. I'm going to hold it up high and I'm just going to let it drip over everything. Okay, very messy. Woo. Let her drip. You're kind of like creating like this mop kind of a method, I guess. Like a milk paint. Not milk paint, but a milk finish. This to just flow right over it. Told you we was gonna make a mess, huh? Oh, I forgot to show you guys before I started this. I lied to you, didn't I? I said I would show you. Hopefully you guys had a good visual of it. I'm trying not to get this on me so that I won't be covered in paint. Let me get a lunch. So notice I'm not brushing, okay? You don't want to brush. Well, I mean, I guess you could, but what'll happen when this gets wet, every time you get the DIY paint wet, it reactivates. So if you were to take a brush and start doing this over top of it, you're going to either pull some off or, or you're going to go down to where the brass is and you're just going to pull it all that work that you put into is going to just go away. So we don't want that. There's one I missed. So you can kind of eyeball it at this point, and you can kind of see if you want it, if you want more coverage or if it's covering enough, or you can simply do this another time. You can do this a couple of times until you get it to the right consistency of coverage that you want, okay? I really like messy paint finishes. This is why this didn't, it's nice to have a studio to do this and rather than my house. So my house was always paint everywhere and all that good stuff. It's looking good. It's looking good. Can you guys see how it's kind of just completely starting to get that aged and decrepit kind of a feel and look and all that yumminess. And it also tones everything down, okay? It completely tones your finish. So that's why I'm not afraid to do bright colors. What was it that I did last week that's similar to this? I forget what I did. Oh, it was my lamp. Remember the lamp that I did from my house? It was very similar to this. Different colors, maybe a little bit different, but very similar. I didn't have all this drippiness going on, but so as it dries, it's going to lighten up just a bit. I want to make sure you get these little guys. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea to hold it upside down and hit it that way too. But for the sake of the video, I'm just going to keep going this way. But you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Just keep turning it. If your paint starts coming off, you want to kind of hold back on it. Drippy. Lamp, yes. Yes, 2 videos. Wait a minute, finally got on the live. Yes, there are, you can catch the beginning of this. This is part 2, and I'm probably gonna have to do a part 3 tomorrow. I didn't know if I would have to do a part 3, but this is really, really wet, and it really needs to dry, okay? Let's keep turning it. I see pieces that I've missed. And you will, there will be, little teeny tiny specks of that brass showing through. I mean, it's not a bad thing, like I said, but I like the majority of it covered with at least with the wash or something, just to tone it. Thank you. Vicky says, I love it. Patricia says, I'm loving this piece. Did you all tell me what colors you would use if you were going to do this finish? Kids, inquiring minds want to know. That's kind of how we get ideas too off of each other. Like somebody will say a color combination maybe that you would never have thought of, and it kind of hits you like, oh, that sounds pretty. I'm going to try it. This is a great way to completely update the look of these old chandeliers that we have laying around. You can find these a dime a dozen. Look, there's a place that I didn't get covered, and see how that pops out, and we're just going to splash that on there. I'm going to dry this for a little bit to see how it kind of looks. That's how you're going to get a feel for if you need more paint or not. You're going to have a lot of texture on this too because of the way we applied the paint. By stippling, it's going to give all that texture. And that, you guys, is going to be great for when we go to add the waxes, which we'll do tomorrow because we're up on like 46 minutes. But you want that texture from the application. You want that stippling method. Can we see a close-up before you go off the air? Asked Patricia. Absolutely. I will absolutely do that. Catching a couple of places that need paint. When you start drying it is when you're going to see the areas that you need to kind of touch up a little bit, okay? I love seeing all of you over here on my YouTube channel. That's awesome. I have some edited videos coming up too, guys, so I appreciate your patience. It takes a little longer for the edited videos, of course. Pretty wet. Stephanie says, did you ever name your dolphin? No, I didn't. I'm still looking for a name. I think just the general painting needs a name. Because it's very peaceful, it's very happy. I thought about joyful spirit because dolphins just, they make everybody smile. If you see a dolphin, you can't not smile, right? Slippery when wet. Okay, Betsy says, I can't decide what colors, but I want it to look like vintage cowboy boots, kind of. Okay, so vintage cowboy boots, so you're probably gonna want lots of browns and that sort of thing, correct? So I'm gonna come around, I'm gonna pull this, maybe I can do it from here. Well, I better come around. Let's see. Okay. This is what we have so far. You can see a little tiny bits of that coming through. But it's going to completely change once we get the waxes. I kind of consider this the front of it, this main bird, because it's my favorite. But you can see how it just completely, even already without the wax, it's already just transformed the look of this. Let me know if y'all have any questions here. And I want you guys to make sure that if you love learning these paint techniques and you want to learn more about art and just different DIY things, make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. And you want to make sure that you hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell, I mean, so that you get a notification of when all of my videos are up. Thank you. Thank you, Patricia. Teals, browns, yellow, or orange, not sure. So, okay, so you could use a combination of all of those colors. Maybe using, let's see, teals, browns, yellows, or orange. So maybe use a combination and then make like some kind of a wash over top of it. So if you want it darker, you could do the brown over top of it. So little peaks of the orange and yellows kind of pop through with a little touch of teal. That would be beautiful. Who is that? Betsy? Betsy, that would be beautiful. And I'd love to see that if you give it a try. Hi, Carolyn from Mississippi. All right, gang, so we're coming up almost, we're just under an hour at 52 minutes. And so I'm going to let this go at that. And we're going to come back tomorrow and we will finish with the waxing. You want to make sure you check out the finished look because that waxing is what's going to pull this all together. And it's just going to richen it and it's going to make it more authentic, like it really has been like that for years and years. So I hope you can make it tomorrow again at 2 o'clock. We will see you guys then. All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.